Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Sunday Night Cop. I'm Gav. This is Emmet, and before anyone asks, Shawnee's in Spain, Keith is in Liverpool, and they're not here. Okay, so let's get that out of the way, nice and quickly. Emmet, we were here last Sunday. We were saying we should do this, we should do that, we should fucking do everything, and then we went to 1-5-1 in Frankfurt, and we're like, oh, that looked good, and then we just went back to being shite again. On Saturday night against Brentford. Look, Kev and Chris covered the game post match, went through all the incidents and stuff. Well, we might touch on a few as we go, but we have to talk about the issues here. We have to talk about the issues from front to back, back to front. The manager, what might be causing this, what the answers might be. We look, we're no experts. We're not. But we're here to give an opinion. So let's do that. Let's start with the issues, right? We're scoring goals, right? We're scoring. Well, I use that term kind of loosely. We're scoring goals. We're conceding way too many. We look soft when it comes to defensive work, and that can come from any angle, whether that's a long throw or a through ball or fucking just somebody running with the ball. So let's start with the issues. Let's start with them. We can start anywhere we want, really. We've seen an awful lot with regards to this player, that player, the manager. And we're gonna get to all them. But when you watched that yesterday, just taking that one and I suppose in a bigger picture, the last 4 league games, what has stood out to you? What has stood out to you in the sense of when you're watching Liverpool, you're kind of going, this is fucking inevitable. What's going to happen here?
It's like we're nearly playing with a two at the back, and the two at the back aren't great at the minute. I think we're too eager to get forward. We're not retaining possession. We're turning over possession too easy. They're second yesterday, probably typifying that. A ball from Verts to Ekatika. Ekatika tries to play it back to him really quickly. We lose possession. Ball gets played to Damsgaard. Damsgaard puts Sade through, and I won't say game over, but 2-0. We're just not take. I just don't think we take care of the ball enough. We're leaving ourselves wide open when you're playing against teams that more than likely, more often than not, are going to try and play on a counter attack. You need to look after the ball. If you want to play quick passing one touch football, you need to be making sure that you've got more cover at the back. Now, I'm going to continue on like a professional there, but there's all these screens popping up in front of me on screen. But that's what it is. And I hate. I was having a conversation with an Arsenal fan today, and I think I might have even said it in a chat that you look at Arsenal and they are solid defensively. They generally have a three across the back. I'm not saying, I know Matt's probably going to get excited here. I'm not suggesting we go three at the back, but they generally will have three of the four centre halves that they play with in the back four always there. And if they lose possession, which they generally do, I think Arsenal are as easy got at to a point as we are. So when they turn over possession, they just have bodies back behind the ball a lot quicker than we do. They pass it around at the back as well, but they actually pass it around a little bit quicker. And I've said this, and other people have said this. I just think the way we're playing at the moment is that this passing around at the back, we all seem to be very flat-footed. Whereas I was watching Arsenal today, and I was like, they're passing it around as well, but they're doing it quicker, and they seem to be up on their toes, ready for anything. We're getting forward. We bomb forward like the Red Arrows. Arsenal don't. So I think that the solution for us is somewhere in the middle. I don't want us to go ultra defensive like Arsenal do, but I also don't want to stop us from getting forward. So it's like a middle ground that you're looking for there. I thought that during the week, I didn't think during the week that we had turned the corner. I didn't think that for 1 second. You just have to look at Frankfurt. Top goal scorers, but also have conceded the most or something in the Bundesliga. To tell you that, but I just think that we need, and it's like you've said, we need probably that box, that two in front of that two, and they're told not to go anywhere. To give us more bodies at the back. You saw it maybe from Gravenberch last year. Sometimes he kind of dropped into where he became like a third centre half. I think we need something like that. I just think that we're committing far too many bodies forward. We're not moving it quick enough. We're turning over possession. We're caught flat-footed, and then we're caught with our pants down then at the back when teams break on us quickly. That's what I'm saying. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I'm saying, is that we're being left too short at the back. And I don't, like I said, I don't want people thinking that I want us to start playing like Arsenal. No way. No thanks. But I think there's a middle ground in between what we're doing now and what they're doing, where we can just get it just right. I have no doubt that we're going to get it right, but we maybe need to start getting it right. Like you look back on the fixtures, Crystal Palace went to, I think at the time they were 17 or 18 unbeaten when they had beaten us twice. You kind of, Chelsea, you can lose to Chelsea. United, even in our worst, even when we were at our worst, there was times where we went to Old Trafford and got a win. But Brentford, and I don't want to say you shouldn't be losing to Brentford, but Jesus Christ, I thought it was going to change against Brentford. We all probably had, and I know an awful lot of people that watch this had Keith Andrews as the first manager to be sacked this season. I just think that we should have been getting it right against Brentford. You can possibly excuse other defeats, but this one is a little bit tough to take.
So here's my take on it, right? And it's a take that's kind of built since the start of the season. When we spoke at the start of the season, we were talking about, players coming in, and everyone gets excited by players coming in. And, in fairness, the players we're bringing in, we're like, Kerkez looks a fantastic left back. And I've no doubt he is. You look at Frimpong and you say to yourself, great addition at right back. You're looking at Verts, you're like, Jesus, brilliant. You're looking at Ekatike, you're looking at Isaac, and you're going, amazing. And my take at the very start was is too much change, Now I've softened on that a bit, because I don't look at, if you look at Frimpong and if you have your doubts, right, you look at Bradley and you kind of go, well, Frimpong is probably justified in being signed because Bradley has had it a bit rough, right? You look at Kerkez and Robertson comes in and does really well during the week against Frankfurt, but Robertson, we've seen when he plays a couple of games when he plays a couple of games in a row, you kind of go, Jesus, he looks a bit leggy, he looks a bit off, he looks like one of those that can come in and play every Saturday, but he can't do every Wednesday, the sort of way. And then you look at Verts and you think, right, he's being signed for a certain way of playing, and that's the way, the road we're going to go down. That's the thing that's annoying me most. I'm going to put my hand up and say, not playing to what you've bought for, and you're not going here, and I'll get on to that later. And then you look at the strikers, and Nunez goes and the passing of Jota, and you probably need two strikers, and he brings two in. We can have the arguments around Diaz and whatever else. But my take on this is that I was worried about too much at the one time, but then I can kind of justify all of them, to be fair. Especially if you're going to dedicate yourself to playing a certain way. At the start of the season, I did say if this team finishes 10th, so be it. Based off the whole Jota stuff, and I didn't know what way they'd react, the players. I just didn't. So that that was something that's always been on the back of my mind, and it's kind of come to the fore a little bit as I watch certain players. But the way I look at this is, this Liverpool team started off and we got wins and we got last minute wins. We're like, Jesus, we haven't played great. We all said it. Haven't played great, but we're getting the wins, showing good spirit and everything else. But we win against Bournemouth and everyone's like, oh, Chiesa and brilliant. But Mo Salah's crying on the pitch after the game, and you're kind of looking, you're kind of going, brilliant win. He's emotional, but Jesus, it's still really there, and it's something we kind of have to keep in our mind. And look, we've all become kind of hesitant to say that, because once you say that, it's like, excuses. It's not excuses. It's just fucking the facts of life. The way I look at it is, Emma, and I said it a couple of weeks ago, Arne Slot's panicking, right? And he's not decisive enough for me in what he's doing. Okay. They go out against Manchester United. They should probably win the game, in fairness, but they're not decisive enough in what they do. They go to Frankfurt, they go 1-0 down. They have this system where they play 4 at the back, 2 lads in midfield. Vert is off one side, Gakpo's off the other. Ekitike is floating with Isak, and it meant then that the 2 lads in the middle of midfield had not genuine support on each side, but they had someone that weren't told to go and stand beside Alexander Isak. They were literally a bit of a playmaker. One's a winger, one's a playmaker. So it's an extra body there behind the ball, right? And it looked really good. It looked really, really good in the way we were creating. We were making space. People were moving around, and we were kind of going, perfect. He loses Isak, and for me, he goes back to something yesterday, where he goes back to a 4-2-3-1, right? Which I've been shouting for, a 4-2-3-1. But your wide men have to work. So why didn't he just go and say to himself, I'll tell you what I'll do. Just keep the way it was, and I'll just throw Salah up top with Ekitike. Just throw him up top. And listen, that's working for us. Let's throw him up there. Okay? He can float around a little bit, but at least we'll have 2 banks of 4. We're making ourselves difficult to play against, and we go from there. And he doesn't. And a lot of people are questioning him. People are saying, he should go and all this. Like, I completely and utterly disagree with that. But there's some stage where Emmet, I feel like I'm broken record. He's saying, like, teams are coming out with ways of playing against us, and that they're playing really well, and we haven't found a solution to that. But we should be giving them the problems, Emma. Not us waiting for them to give us the problems. And do you feel there's a naivety there? Because we know, we said out during the week, we beat Frankfurt. We beat them well. They were set up nicely the way we wanted to play, really. But we said, whatever Frankfurt done, you're going to see the exact opposite against Brentford. We know they're going to sit in. They're going to try win the ball. They might pressure a little bit in midfield and win it, and look for Sade, and you're going to look for Thiago up front. You're going to look for those balls. And we just went, yeah, all right, fine. No problem. Is there a naivety to where we're playing, Emma?
I would say more stupidity than naivety. It's like, you keep saying this in press conferences, so you should know what to expect. Like, last season, we kind of praised him about being able to change in game, but he doesn't even seem to be able to change in game. Whether I've seen people saying he's stubborn. I don't know. Like, come up, like you're saying this the last few weeks. You need to come up with a solution then. Just not doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's getting a bit tiresome. It's like teams have figured us out. We should be able to figure. Like, do you know what I mean? We should be able to have something to counteract what they're doing. And it's just, I don't know. I think Ashley said there earlier on, we've got probably at any one time 2 defensively minded players on the pitch out of 11. Kind of makes sense. I think we're too set up to attack and not set up enough to defend.
But you see, that's a tactical thing, right? All this 2 defensively minded players is, I don't agree with it at all, right? Because all the good teams, regardless of who plays them, and what positions they're playing, they all have a defensive mind in them because they all know they have to walk back, they have to get into position, they have to set up their stall, whatever it might be.
But knowing and doing are two different things.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. That's a tactical setup. That's not a mindset. That's not a that player just knows how to run forward. That like if you go back to Liverpool teams with Salah and Mane and Firmino, brilliant going forward. Brilliant. With the most functional midfield ever behind them. That would shift over as a tree and just constantly keep moving around and making sure they win ball and making sure they get it to the tree. But Mane be back in the left back position, helping out. Salah wouldn't be as much because he cheated a bit. But Firmino would often be at the edge of his own box, picking up balls and knocking them off and getting in front of people. All this defensively minded stuff is how you play. It's how you set up to play. You know what I mean? And the way we're set up, and people say people have figured us out. When I hear words like that, I think to myself, well, we're trying to do A, B, and C going forward, and people are kind of catching on to us. We actually don't look too bad at times going forward.
No, we don't.
But look, take the second goal yesterday, right? Yeah, we lose the ball. But I'm sorry, but a fella gets a ball, actually looks down at the fucking ball for about 3 seconds to see what he's doing with it, looks up and just kicks the thing into space, right? And your man is miles ahead of Kanate. And you can see Virgil looking going, oh, fucking hell, he's in behind him. Like,
Kanate slows down a bit as well.
Listen, all this fucking playing, unless he's making a run into your half and you can stand there and you can see him clearly, Kanate should be just forced to, minute that ball is lost, I'm getting goal side of this fella, and he's not getting beyond me. End of story. And it's, if Vino says tactics me whole, we do not win duels or physical battles, maybe start there. Yeah, I get that, but I'm not talking about that for a minute, Vino. I'm talking about the tactical sense of what we're looking to do. And, people figure us out and people play through us. People are playing through us because we're going, oh yeah, no, I think we stand up here and do this. I think we stand over here and do that. Do you know what I mean? It's a very fair point what Vino makes with regards to duels and things, because when Slot comes in first of all, he goes on constantly about duels, winning the physical battle. Not so much the physical battle, but winning individual duels, and then you go and you play your football from there. Player-wise, there's loads of players getting knocked here. Kerkez is getting knocked badly for me. McAllister just hasn't been at it. Salah, everyone thinks Salah is the issue, but we're conceding we must have conceded 20 plus goals this season. We played about 12 games. Salah's
I think
we've
conceded 2 goals in 9 or more games, games this
Real
season.
talk says there it is a great ball though. It's a great ball because our centre half that's looking at the guy decides to stand there and let him run in his own half. You know what I mean? It's as if to me as if they're not switched on, Emma. They're not switched on. They're not in on the game. They're not like. Honestly, the centre back looks there and says, "This fucker's in his own half. I can't step anywhere. I need to be goal side him." That's it. And he has enough time to react to it as the forward has. It's not like, listen, you stand there, give the forward a 2-second head start, and then we'll play on from there. He just doesn't.
But that's what I mean. We're too attack minded. We're not switched on to what happens. What happens when this ball breaks down? I think we've got too many people ahead of the ball. Like, so if and I know we can't do it on this, maybe we could do it on Reaction Extra later on in the week, but it would be interesting to see how many people are ahead of the ball when Ekitike loses it. But I just think, looking at, and again, I'm going to mention Arsenal. Today I just saw them, they turned over possession a good few times. I think they're probably, as easy as we are, to a point.
But let me tell you what they done as well.
But they get bodies back in droves.
Yeah, but they get bodies back, but they don't commit as many as us, right? Okay. But let me tell you what else they done today. With 15 minutes to go today, Arsenal at home to Crystal Palace decided, that's it. Block. We've had enough. He's coming off and Lewis Skelly's coming on and we're literally going, you're not fucking scoring. End of story. Right? Now, Liverpool, you probably don't do that from the outset of a game. But Liverpool going into that game yesterday should have said, lads, you keep hold of the ball and your 2 centre-halves, don't even let them run fucking any, because they're going to just look to make runs all the time. You're going to have to be big enough and strong enough now. It's big boy football. You have to track that runner. Canate looked like he was fucking on the beer, like trying to chase after him. But
Yeah,
these are the tactical things that, like, we didn't lose a duel there yesterday to concede that second goal. We just didn't.
we
What we
just
done
turned
was we
over the
gave the ball
possession too
away.
easy.
We all stood still and watched this fella hitting a pass into space. We watched another fella running off him, and that was it. We didn't lose a duel. We gave the ball away, and then we decided, he mightn't pass it there. We might I might get in the way. And we didn't. We aren't. We're not. And it's Owen Burks. I think it was Owen said there. This is how you win football games. You work as hard as the other team. You work as hard as them. And we don't. We seem to be a team like they're in autopilot. They're in autopilot, and that's what they are. Going through the team though, it's a when we talk about this, we want to talk about solutions and what we can do, what Slot needs to do, what players need to do. He has some massive decisions to make here, Emma. And the first thing you should probably do is stop talking after games. Genuinely. Like, in fairness to him, he came out after the game. Robinson came out after the game and said it wasn't good enough. The demands on us are to win games. We need to run harder. We need to fight harder. We need to be quicker to the ball. We need to win this, that, and the other. We don't get a chance to reflect on this with games, and sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. He said. Slot comes out and says it's probably the worst performance of the 4 defeats. But it's the worst performance of the 4 defeats. But he's making decisions who's going on this pitch, and more so the subs, because I'm looking at the subs going, this player gets injured, and you're bringing on a young fella, and you're putting your midfielder, who's probably the driving part of your midfield at the minute, and putting him back in right back. It's not working. Like, solutions wise, and if people are in the chat, throw in what you feel we should do, and I'll read out as many as I can. But solution wise, Emma, I keep saying it. He has to pick something. He has to stick with it, and he has to make some big decisions on players. Here.
Yeah, look, he could have easily gone into bar, obviously Isaac, and I think Kev was probably saying this as well, that he should have probably started with what he started, bar Isaac, like you said, against Frankfurt. And if he wanted to play Salah, probably should have put Salah up front with Ekitike instead of Isaac. He needs to do something, and I think he needs to do it quick enough. I'm not all in on the Kirkes slander. I think he might try a little bit too hard. I was a little bit pissed off looking at Van Dijk shouting and moaning at him, roaring and shouting at him. It's like he's giving him a bit of a hard time. Even I don't even think it was Jordan. Was it during the week maybe where Van Dijk smashes one off his face, and then he has a go at him. Like, but Kirk has wasn't in the way or anything like that. It's just there seems to be and I don't like saying things like this, but there just seems to be there's no cohesiveness between the team. It's like they're still getting to know each other. I know we're 8, 9, 10, 11 games in with pre-season, all that kind of stuff, but there just doesn't seem to be that kind of, I want to say, bond between players just yet. I would probably take Kirkes out for a little bit and play Robertson. You're stuck with Bradley at right back unless you want to go with Gomez. I know you're not a fan of that. I would quite possibly give Gomez a run instead of Canate. I think we're desperate to get Gravenberch back. I saw people say Endo. I don't know. I think the sooner we get Gravenberch back, the better. I would possibly put, and I know I said this the other day, Gravenberch and Jones as your two. I think Jones retains possession really, really well. He progresses the ball really, really well. He's very press resistant, doesn't give up possession all that often, and that's what our biggest problem is at the moment. Again, I know you don't like saying it, but Gravenberch has that kind of more defensive mind than what's been playing while he's not there. Mamardashvili should not be playing with the ball at his feet. I nearly had a heart attack every time he got the ball at his feet yesterday. Or they're not playing it to his. Do we know what foot he is? Is he left foot or is he right foot?
He's a left foot
But
goalkeeper.
but they still seem to want to play it to his right foot. Is Alisson right-footed? Alisson's right-footed, isn't it? But like, what's this? Is now his fifth game or something? Fifth game?
Yeah, probably a bit more than
For the
that.
fourth game. Yeah, should be used to it by now. He just doesn't look like even his balls to players. You're playing a bouncing ball to a player, or they're playing a bouncing ball back to him. It's just there just doesn't seem to be any kind of, and I know it was Robertson that said this, kind of structure to the play. It's all seems to be frantic. Get it, move it, get it, move it. We need to take back that control of the game. Hold on to. I know you were saying hold on to the ball. We hold on to it. We're built, or we're set up. We're designed for keeping hold of the ball. I just don't think we're keeping hold of the ball enough. And when we do keep hold of the ball, we keep hold of the ball for too long and we move it too slow. So you can retain possession and move the ball really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think we're doing that at the moment. And I go back to one of my first points is we seem to be very flat-footed. So when a team turns the ball over, we're not set to get back quick enough. They're not on their toes. I would probably go back to the Frankfurt setup and rotate Salah, Chiesa, Ekitike, Isak when he's back. Like you said, get to something and stick to it. I think Verts looked a hell of a lot better during the week as well. I think Verts has actually been really, really good. It's just players aren't finishing off the chances he's creating. I don't want to think that he's like a luxury player, but like you made the point during the week, he shouldn't be the person that you're passing the ball to. You should be passing it to somebody else, and then they're playing the ball off to Verts, and kind of like drawing in the opposition and freeing him up because he picks up those little bit of space in between the lines. But it's, I don't know, it's getting a little bit demoralising at the moment. I've been through worse as a Liverpool fan, but it's just like, go and win a fucking game. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so if he's going to continue the way he is with regards to his selection and the way we're going to play, he needs to take one of these wide men and he needs to go, right, Gakpo or Salah, one of these aren't playing. That's what he needs to do, in my opinion, right? Because Ekitike and Isak up front, yeah, it looked good, but I'd actually prefer if you told me you were playing Wirtz up front with one of them, because he has the natural thing to drop in and get hold of the ball and look to play. And people will say, well, is that not a 4-2-3-1? No, not in my mind anyway. If you decide, let's just for argument's sake, right, let's just look at it this way. Unless it's two wide men are going to work really hard, which one of them doesn't want to and don't want to in a while.
But he was apparently told not to. Slaz told him he doesn't have to.
I know that. So he doesn't have to, right? But in this system, when you bring a Wirtz in, and Wirtz is the key to all this, you cannot sign a player for £160 million and then decide, yeah, it turns out we didn't realise you don't fit in this sort of system. So, like, that's a nonsense, right? So the whole thing of Salah being able to, cheat, as we would call it, right, goes out the window of Wirtz place. Just simply goes out the window because you haven't got three behind him, you've only two, right? So he has some hard decisions to make. He either tells his wide men, you have to work harder, right? And you have to drop in more, and those out balls for other teams aren't going to be there. That's the first thing he has to do. Or what he says is, right, Salah's not playing. And what we're going to do is we're going to play Jones and fucking somebody in midfield, and we're putting Szoboszlai in the right wing.
Yeah.
Right? And we're going to make us solid on that side. And we're going to let Gakpo the either winger down the other side. But these Szoboszlai literally becomes a third midfielder and moves across, and these kind of pendulum across the pitch as a three at times. Or he changes Gakpo and he says, I'm going to put someone out there that's going to work hard, and I'm keeping Salah, and Salah's going to be the one that's going to be the winger and stuff like that if he persists with it. But I can't understand how when we lose, and I suppose the initiative is meant to be with us. The emphasis is on us to be that front-footed team. Do you get me? But you can be front-footed without being suicidal. Like, the second goal yesterday will haunt me. It will actually haunt me because I get you lose the ball, but you shouldn't lose the ball, and a fella has that much time to look down at the ball and look and look and look and go, oh yeah, I'm putting it in there. And our centre backs are one is literally in our half, and the other one is in their half nearly, and the other one is not far off it. And this guy's just running in a straight line, and Kanate is like bollocks, and he can't catch him, and he's afraid to touch him, and then he just stops. You know, that sort of way. But you shouldn't be that open. Do you get me? So it's all about, and I keep going back to it, it's all about looking after the ball. But we seem to, when we look after the ball, want to be, we have the ball, let's look after it, and let's fucking tear down here towards this goal. We don't need to. We don't need to. How many times did we watch Liverpool last season and we went, and even under Klopp, in fairness, where we went, they can't keep up with this. They've managed to get to half-time. But they're bollocksed. So if we just keep doing this and keep doing this, they can't keep up. But what we're doing now is we're running like lunatics. Teams are going, wait, there, go, get it off them. And now, turn and kick it. Just kick a fucking out there somewhere, and you have a great chance here. Do you know what I'm saying? So he has to make some seriously big decisions. Even if he doesn't want to make them in personnel, he has to make them in the way he's playing. So he has to turn us into a possession-based team that play possession in a certain area rather than being way up the pitch. Or he turns us into a team where we go, do you know what, Brentford, you have the fucking ball. And let's see where you want to play. But the variety has even gone out of us. You know, when you look at Liverpool, really good Liverpool sides, they were really good last season. But we sat in. We went and played City. We sat in, went away to them, sat in, beat them. Do you know what I mean? We went and beat other teams by attacking them. Other teams by, you know, being a bit cagey. But we don't seem to have that. We seem to come out and go, this is our style. We're all running forward. But if you win the ball, don't worry about it, because we leave loads of room in behind, and anyone in midfield that's meant to be pressing or looking to challenge won't be anywhere fucking near you. Don't worry about it, because they'll all be ahead of the ball. Do you know what I'm saying? And and people are, you know, people are having a go at Arne Slot. They're quite right to have a go off him, because, you know, and again, I'm not calling for him to be sacked, because I think I'll get into something in a little bit. But you're quite right to, maybe if you want to have a go off him, by all means do. But you're quite right to question it, going, why do we keep doing this same fucking thing? Why do we keep doing the same thing? And teams are setting up, like they set up yesterday to hit long throws for us, be direct for us, look to play on the counter, right? Okay, get in behind us. And he said he couldn't find a solution to it. Last week, Manchester United didn't want to get in behind us. Manchester United wanted to hit the ball up at us, for us to head it, and they looked to take the control of the ball off the second ball. And we couldn't find a solution. So we can't find a solution to teams that want to run in behind us. We can't find a solution to teams that want to win second balls against us. So what are we going to do if a team decides that they just want to sit in and go, oh, fuck that, we're not attacking, we'll take the draw? If we don't find a solution there, what are we going to do there? So everyone has a right to have an absolute go off him. But he has to react by saying, this is the way I'm going to play, and we're sticking with it. But he can't stick with what he's with, Demi. You just can't.
No, he has to.
Forget personnel for a minute. You cannot stick to that.
We look at, like you just mentioned it there. Against this team, we did this. Against that team, we did that. It just seems we're doing the same thing against every team. Don't start me on the fucking long throws being back in football. It's absolute putrid. Works, obviously, but Jesus Christ. And the whole towel thing, we had to have agreed to that to allow them to use that towel yesterday. Who in their fucking right mind, what analyst is looking at these all season, seeing this chap throwing fucking long balls in, and they agree to allow him to use a poxy towel? Like, that has to be agreed before the game. It's just, I don't know. I'm trying to think that, like, and I'm not falling into this whole, oh, he won the league last season with Klopp's team. He didn't, because Klopp didn't even win the league with that team. But it was, is there a tactical change? And I'm not looking to play the blame game here, but like, we've lost Heitinga, and now we've brought in Van Bronckhorst. I think it was Ashley that was saying, whether it was on a show or in a chat, that he's known for having these kind of mad ideas out of the wing backs. Like, and are we trying to do something that Van Bronckhorst wants us to try?
But hold on, what mad ideas? Basically, what we have is we have We have, this is the funny thing about it, this with Kerkez. When we signed Kerkez, Milos Kerkez, everyone, the fucking man, woman and child, spoke about how good an engine he has, how good attacking he is, his recovery pace, everything else. He's a bit mad at times, but like you can batter that out of him, right? Okay. Now, when we signed him, that's what we all spoke about, right? And people are going, "Oh, but Kerkez is fucking brutal," right? But I'm watching Milos Kerkez and I'm going, nothing about the way he's been asked to play for this side resembles what he was doing at Bournemouth. Nothing. Now, don't get me wrong. If Milos Kerkez come in and he went, "Listen, mate, see all that running like a lunatic up every fucking 5 minutes," we're not doing it, right? And the reason we aren't doing it is because Andy Robertson tried to do it last season and it didn't suit how we were playing. It just didn't suit how we were playing. That fella bombing outside all the time doesn't work, right? Because I've said it last season, I didn't think that style of Robertson suited what we were trying to do, right? But if you're going to tell me, Kerkez, listen, by all means, when Gakpo gets it, he's going to come inside. You go outside him, or Gakpo might drop a bit deep. You can go beyond him. But I'm watching a fella here now that looks terrified to go beyond the halfway line. Okay? He looks terrified to get more than 15 yards away from Virgil van Dijk. And if he does get more than 15 yards away from Virgil van Dijk and someone else fucking loses the ball and plays it over the back of him, Virgil van Dijk's giving out to him. So that's what we have there. Do you know what I mean? Mm. And all this stuff about, are they doing these mad things with fullbacks? They're not doing anything mad at all. I keep saying it. This team is made for the wide men to be the playmakers, along with Florian Wirtz, and to come in narrow when they need to, which congests the pitch and makes it actually harder for teams to get out. And your fullbacks go beyond, and them two boys and them two centre backs act as a back four. End of fucking story. But that's still not happening, Emma. Because when the ball drops there yesterday to that fella, no midfielder goes near him. And the two centre-backs, instead of being humble in the situation and saying, "Fuck, that fella Sade is really fucking quick, by the way, and we're standing in our own half, and this fella has a run on us. We're going to drop 5 yards here. We're going to drop 10 yards, right? Just take you on the fucking chin, drop 10 yards, and when the ball gets played through, you intercept it and we go again." But we don't. No one presses him, and he just plays the ball over the top. It's a horrendous goal. It's actually, do you know what? It's the perfect goal to show you what's wrong with this team. Right? Both in possession and out of possession. What hurry were we in there to get forward? Play it to him and I'll play real fast. On 10 yards inside their half.
5 yards away from each other.
Do you know what I mean? What rush are they in? The truth is, Liverpool have players here that, if you, all things being equal, and Henderson touches on it yesterday, how they're all top end players, but they just haven't got going yet. But it's against, when I look at this, I don't see how it suits anybody what they're doing. Do you look at a player in that team and go, "It's actually suiting him brilliant what we're doing, but it's just not working for the rest"? Is there anyone you can pick?
No.
It's hindering loads of them as to what they're doing. It's hindering loads of them what they're doing. And look, I don't write off the effect that Diogo Jota's death has had on them. I don't for a second. I don't, because at the end of the day, they've played 12 games, I think. 12 games, real games, since Diogo Jota's passed away. And you can see it in them. You can see it in them. Even the senior players, you can see it in them. You can see it in Salah. You can see it from Ian Van Dijk. You can see it in others. And look, that's a really hard situation they're in. And maybe you throw a little bit more credit back at Arne Slot, because you go, listen, he's probably looking at it going, he's not right. But if I don't pick them, right, everyone will be on me fucking back for not picking them. Right? When I do pick them, they're not quite performing. How do I get them out of this? Do I let them sit? Do I let them sit and fucking stew on it? Or do I play them? So that's something that you have to look at as well, where you think, if you're trying to manage a very difficult situation.
But if he's winning games and not picking players, I don't think anybody's on his back. The reason people are on his back now is that he persists in picking players, namely Salah.
But why namely Salah?
Because he's out of form, like.
Who's in form?
There's people that are in more form than he is.
Who's in form? Forget more form.
Well, I think
by saying somebody's in more form than Salah is fucking not saying much, to be fair. So who's in form?
I think Ekitike is in form.
Okay, I'll give you that. Szoboszlai. Yeah, I'll give you that.
I think Gakpo's in form.
I'll give you that.
That's probably about it.
Okay.
And we
So
don't. Well, Gravenberch, but we don't actually have him at the
so
moment.
namely Salah is a bit mad of a thing to say.
No. I'm saying the supporter group as a whole are more kind of wanting Salah not to be in the team. You're saying that if he left people
No,
out,
because
people would be on his case. But I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that if he left people out and was winning games, I don't think it would be an issue.
Jones on form, yeah. Sarah says Jones. I'll give you Jones as well.
Mm.
But my thing is, like, when you look who's close to Salah on that pitch, right?
Chiesa is on form as well if he can get
Yeah,
minutes.
Chiesa, but he won't put him in the team.
But
So
that's what I'm saying.
That's a big
So-
decision he has to make. But what
No,
I'm
but
saying is,
you're saying is that he's thinking if he leaves this, and this person out, that people will be on his case.
Yeah,
but
but
if he leaves this, and this person out and plays somebody else and he wins games, no one gives a fuck.
he's not winning games. He's not winning games.
No,
Regardless of the personnel he puts on the pitch, if he goes on into games like that where where the two wide men aren't walking back enough, one fullback looks terrified to go over his own half. The other fullback can't put an attacker without getting a yellow card. The other two in midfield aren't staying close enough and covering their centre halves. The two centre halves won't fucking get it into their head that he can drop off 10 yards. It's allowed, right? It doesn't matter who he puts in. Right, you can put fucking Maradona on the right wing for Liverpool at the minute, and he won't win fucking games because we're too open, we're too eager to try go and fucking score goals. We're not pressing when we lose it because we don't have the setup to do it. We're too open when teams try to play through us, and it doesn't matter who plays. It doesn't matter who plays. Do you know what I mean? Like we've all had goals off Gakpo, we've all had goals off Salah, but then when you look at the fullback situation, who are meant to be the closest guys to them, this is where they facilitate them. They've been a disaster. If overall they've been a disaster this season for varying reasons. So, you know, it's for me, it's not. It is a personnel thing. It'd be stupid not to say that there is personnel that aren't performing, right? But I think a lot of it for reason they're not performing is the way we're set up. The way we're set up, like Philly says, defend from the front. I couldn't agree more, right? But people think because Florian Wirtz is in the team, we can't defend, right? We can't defend from the front. Of course we can. But if you look at Liverpool when our teams get out against them, they're literally just clipping the ball over Gakpo's head or clipping the ball over Salah's head, and their left wing back or their right wing back, just pour out of defence with it. So it's the setup, and all it takes is just.
I think midfield is non-existent as well. The last while,
just tell the two boys, just drop back, let them have the fucking ball, unless they play it into midfield and or into a defence midfield, and Wirtz tries to snap into something, and next of all that's a trigger. Oh, there's a loose touch there, and we all go in, and if they play out, fair enough. But for me, as someone asked, what's the story with the fork? I don't know. It was just a fork fucking sitting on my desk. It's probably from eating lunch earlier and just forgot to bring the fork back into the kitchen. But it's me fork. I do this a lot. I always have a fork near me. But yeah, I do get the personnel thing, but I still think no matter what you put into that team, if you're sent out to do a certain way, it's just not going to work, Emma. It's just not going to work.
But it needs to start fucking working. I think it's a midfield thing again. Without Gravenberch in there, there's not really. They are all forward thinking. Bar maybe Jones. So that's why I think the ideal for now would be with Gravenberch when he's back fit would be Gravenberch and Jones to sit in the midfield too, in front of the back four. That's what I want to see.
So I'll tell you what, right? Pick whatever two you fucking want, right? But I promise you, right, you can have whoever you want in that midfield. But the way we're playing at the minute, them two are going to go into midfield. They're going to be asked to push up high. The centre halves are going to push up behind them, and where the ball's going to drop out, and them two are going to go.
Shouldn't.
Do I? Don't I? But that's what they're being fucking told to do, Emma.
Yeah, but and we're talking about here what needs to happen.
Yeah, we are talking about what needs to happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's what needs to happen. They don't push up,
yeah.
and
But
the two of them sit in front of them.
yeah, and you get your fullbacks and you get them higher up the pitch.
Mm.
You get them higher up the pitch. Them fullbacks shouldn't be in a back four. Not when you have the ball. They should be in the back four. Them fullbacks should be slightly ahead of your two midfielders, right? And in a position where they can react to, oh, we're being broken on here. Bang, I'm back in position. Bang, I'm back in position, right? But as soon as we get it, I'm up the pitch. And then if I go up the pitch, it allows then the scope for your Salah, your Gakpo, your Verts to Verts can go and walk with Salah, he can go and walk with Gakpo, and he can move left, but them two can come in narrower. And then that gives you the space. But it seems to be just like all run forward and then lose it and then don't press it and then all stand looking
Don't
to
get
see
back.
what'll happen. And then, like, your man just run through and go. You know what I mean? But that is a manager thing. That's not a player thing. It's not a personnel thing. Do you know what I mean? You might stumble across something and you go, fucking hell, Chiesa's started on the right wing for the last 2 weeks and he's brilliant. But he'd probably be brilliant because he'd be going, yeah, I'm actually going and I'm going to stand in line with my two midfielders here across the pitch. Okay? And Gakpo on the other side is going to do the same. And Verts is going to stand in behind Isaac or Ekitike. And if there's a loose pass and he's pressing, and if there's a loose pass, if a fucking trigger go, we'll all go. But there's no coordination here. It's just, I'm watching it and I'm like, it's absolutely bizarre to watch. Owen Borg says narrow 4-4-2, width from the fullbacks makes us compact in midfield. I'm not against that, but what I would say is that I would be more of a 4-4-1-1 rather than two right up top. I want Verts in that 10 position, but people think when you put him in the 10 position you're losing all the midfield. You're not. If you actually bring those two wide men back and narrow them, you're absolutely fine. Narrow them just a little bit, they're absolutely fine. There won't be a problem. Just says Vert said the conversation he had with Slot made him join. I can't imagine how he's being played was the sales pitch. So what is the manager trying to do? Ado says I try 3-5-2. We need to pack the midfield. We lose a lot of battles there. The only problem with 3-5-2 is that you end up with those fullbacks / wingbacks can be exposed as well. You think that's that extra centre back, but they usually end up becoming narrow, and you have to use a midfielder to go over and help them. Look, with Slot, he has a game against. What would you do on Wednesday against Palace?
I go
I
strong.
won't be playing this shadow team bullshit.
No, I go strong. Then I don't think I think he needs to go back. He needs to go back to the Frankfurt setup. And if he wants Salah to play, he plays in the two with Ekitike. They need to play themselves into something. We're a rhythm team. We've always been a rhythm team for a long time. They need to get used to playing together. They need to get used to playing a system, and I think they need to go back to what we did against Frankfurt and play like that. Because I think Palace will probably try and come and play us, unlike maybe other teams over the last while. But that's what he needs to do. I wouldn't be giving them a rest.
No.
Go strong. Go strong.
But you see, Palace are going to turn up here now on Wednesday. And if they go strongish, they're going to play direct to Mateta. Now, do we turn around and go, well, we haven't quite got a solution for that yet, lads, so what do you expect? What do you do? Like, I'd much prefer, if he doesn't have to come out and say it, but I'd much prefer if Arne Slot named the back four, right? Two midfield, Gakpo and let's say Gakpo. Just let's say he does Gakpo Salah. Let's just say for argument's sake, right? And he puts Verts in behind Ekitike. Let's just say he goes with that, right? And when we come out, we go, fuck, when Palace have the ball here, we're just in a line of four. We're in a line of four, and if the Palace left back has it, Salah goes towards him, Verts is hovering, so is Ekitike. If they play it across the other side, fucking Gakpo's hovering, so is Verts, so is Ekitike. And when the ball goes in, if they try playing to midfield, our two boys in midfield are snapping in, right? And Verts is there looking to pick up the pieces. But we're not letting them chip it over our fucking wingers here. right? We're not letting them chip it over our wingers, and we're not letting them fullbacks get out that easy, okay? And we're going to make sure that our two midfield are close together, and they're moving and walking, and Verts can be that little extra man in there as well. And when we get it, then we look to spring. I'd love to see that. And you know what? If we lost the game, if we lost 2-1, trying it, I go, I'm fine with that. And when we play Aston Villa at the weekend, I want us to go and do the exact same thing again. Because at least we're identifying what we're trying to do. Okay? We're trying to make ourselves a little bit more solid. We're trying to work as many teams we're in a team. Okay? To press and look to get the ball back and whatever else. But I know, I just have an awful feeling is we're going to just go out there on Wednesday night and you're going to see, I put money he goes 4-3-3 on Wednesday night. If he goes strong, I put money he goes 4-3-3. And Verts doesn't play, and Jones and McAllister and Szoboszlai start the game. And Salah starts, and fucking Gakpo starts, and a striker. I put money on it. And that's the worry for me. He's panicking, and he just keeps chopping and changing. Instead of saying, I've bought players for this, and this is what I'm going to fucking do. And Robertson mentioned no structure. When there's no structure in a team, it's because, don't get me wrong, you're in a team and you're winning 1-0 and you go, Arsenal done it today, winning 1-0, right? 10 minutes to go, lads, we're not making this an open game of football. They're going to go direct. Let's put the people on the pitch to deal with direct, and we go from there. Right? No problem with that. In game, you have to do that. But when you're going into games and it's constantly, is it 4-3-3? Is it 4-2-3-1? Is it 4? You play to your strengths and then you deal with theirs. Do you know what I mean? And we have centre halves that are big enough to deal with direct. Okay? And we have centre halves that should be good enough to go, I'm dropping 10 yards and going to deal with this. We've seen Virgil van Dijk drop off and fucking, or just see passes and go, I'm cutting stuff out. But at the moment, they're not applying themselves. They're just not applying themselves. So you have to, if they're not applying themselves and they're not getting, if he's banging his head against the wall and they just aren't getting it, he's going to have to say, lads, you aren't getting it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to this really basic fucking style, okay, until we can start building back towards this. But I don't think he'll go to a basic style, and I don't think he'll stick to what I think he wants to play, which is a 4-2-3-1. I'll say this much, if he plays 4-3-3 on Wednesday, he's in serious fucking trouble. And I mean that. I think he's in serious trouble if he plays 4-3-3 on Wednesday night, especially if he goes strong, because he's gone back again to something. He's gone 4-3-3 against United. He's gone to a 4-4-1-1 against Frankfurt, which, made us solid, but could control the ball as well. He's gone to a 4-2-3-1 there yesterday, right? And I'd nearly put money he'll go 4-3-3 on Wednesday night.
When you say he's in serious trouble,
yeah.
You mean in terms of losing his job?
I wouldn't go as far as saying in terms of losing his job. I think he might have a fair few in the dressing room going, what is going on here? What are we doing here? Now they're not blameless because he's probably going, well, I'll tell you what we're trying to fucking do, and you won't do it, right? But they could answer and go, well, we are actually doing what you're asking to do. It's just not fucking working. You know what I mean? And there's an awful lot of senior heads in that team now. And let's be fair, when we were talking about Salah and we're talking about Van Dijk signing new deals, they wanted to know and they wanted to see what we are up to and they wanted to see where we are progressing, right? They could turn around and go, oh, fuck this, right? No, fuck this. Get someone else because I'm not wasting me 2 years here with this. And I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm not saying that's,
Well, so this whole Robbo comment, as vice captain, there's no structure. Does that not kind of give you a little peek behind the curtain? Is that like
I look? You could take that either way. You could take that as him having an absolute go, or you could take it as the structure at the moment isn't right because we're working on things and we're trying to get to. You have to, behind it all, you still have to look at the 12 games into a season, right? The 12 games into a season with left backs and right backs and fucking number 9s and number 10s, and there is an awful lot of change there, and you have to give a certain amount. The problem here is, I think I don't know, let me know in the chat. I think that the thing here is that if all fucking 500 people watching at the minute, wherever many it is watching, we're watching Liverpool going, I can see what we're trying to do here. I can see what we're trying to do, And it's just not there. But we can't see what we're trying to do because we're changing constantly game on game. How the personnel's not changing massively, but we're changing the way we're set up and the way we're approaching into games. And that's for big teams, that's always a telltale for me. Don't get me wrong, if you're mid-table or you're bottom of the table and you go, we play out, if Sunderland go out and play against West Ham at the Stadium of Light next week, they might go with a 4-3-3 or a fucking 4-2-4 or whatever they want. But then when they go to the Emirates the following week, they probably say to themselves, fuck, no lads, fuck this, we're going 4-5-1 and that's it. You know what I mean? You can understand that. But when you are expected to go and win games, right, you should be good enough to go in and go, this is the way we play. And the reason we're good and the reason we're big is because we can go at you and we can play you. But if you try to come against us, we'll deal with you. The solutions he talks about. So, yeah, look, I just...
But we don't have any of that at the moment.
No, because it's very hard to have the solutions to that when, against a team that plays direct, you don't want to win any second balls. Against a team that wants to play behind you, your midfielders aren't pressing. Right? Well, you're giving away the ball, you're not pressing, and your two centre-backs are refusing to drop off.
So can I just on this, can I ask, right? What is so massively different between this year and last year? Bar Trent.
I think the biggest change in Liverpool this season is firstly an understanding of what we're trying to do.
No, but that's what I mean. So what's the difference between last season and this season, bar Trent? Everybody else is what we classed as so we needed to replace Trent. He was gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got Diaz. I see other people kind of saying that Diaz is a big change from last year, or we could have done with him this year. But other than those two, so Núñez, we've improved on Núñez. We've brought in Wirtz. We've got rid of Elliot. I know Elliot didn't play that much. So anything else seems to have been an improvement. But yet we're not playing anywhere near as good as we played last year.
Yeah.
So if you've improved on the players that you've had, obviously bar Diaz and Trent, surely should we not be able to play the same way?
Well,
with better personnel.
Well, if you take it in bits, right, let's take the press of Liverpool first, right? And the press of Liverpool, people I mentioned it there. Ashley says Diaz and Jota, even Núñez, were doing a shit ton of work off the ball, right? Last season, Emile Heskey.
So are we saying that the rest of them aren't the replacements?
No. Emile Heskey, nice of him to join us, says pressing and intensity was going away last year, but now it's completely gone. I'm not saying these players aren't working hard, but there's no cohesion to what way they're working. So the understanding in the press for me is massive, right? And keeping hold of the ball is fucking infuriating. Because I watched Liverpool.
But you would expect better players to be able to hold on to the ball more.
Yeah, I would. But I expect better players to hold on to the ball, right? When you're controlling a game, and what I mean by that is you're playing at your pace, and you're playing in a confidence that you don't have to do everything at a million miles an hour to win a game. Liverpool look like they feel like they have to play at a million miles an hour to win a game, and it's hard to play a game at a million miles an hour and keep hold of the ball. It just is, right? So when we were playing Brentford there yesterday, look, and what did I say to you last week? Keep it moving, keep moving, and then burst, bang, and it might work, it might not. It might go for a fucking goal kick, and you go, "What the fuck was that?" But that's a warning to them, right? And when we burst the next time, it won't go for a goal kick. We get a shot on goal the next time, and the next time, right, we'll make the keeper work, and the next time we're going to score, right? So when are they going? And that puts in decision into other teams. But right now, I'm telling you now, other teams are looking at us going, let them have it. Let them fucking go a bit mental. And we'll just nick a toe in because we know we can go up to a big man and they won't win the second ball. Or we can go over the back of them and these centre-halves are standing there going, aren't we fucking brilliant? Right? Aren't we brilliant? And Philly says there, Trent controlled it. I'm going to tell you, Trent was awful last season. Right? He was fucking awful last season. And people would say he was great here. Great in some games. But I watched him in so many games last season and he was so fucking awful. Right? Defensive wise, passing wise, launching balls in the box, trying to hit fucking diagonals all the time. He wasn't there with his word. He's a fantastic footballer. But this isn't down to Trent. Right? This isn't down to Trent. Anybody can keep the ball. But when we're trying to do it, go mental up the pitch all the time, you're going to lose the ball. And if you're going to lose it, you better make sure those two lads in midfield can get it fucking back. Right? And if they can't get it back, you better make sure that those two centre halves know these aren't getting it back. I have to drop off. I have to do this. Nobody's reacting to each other. Nobody's reacting to each other. And that's where I think you're saying the difference between last season and this season. The press is one thing. The indecision in the press, right? They're all working, but there's not cohesion and there's a bit of indecision. The second thing is looking after the football. They're not looking after well enough.
So things that are easily resolved.
I think they're easily. I think they can be
from
resolved
playing together.
From playing together, but I think a few players might need to take their medicine here, and like we talk about Salah. Salah might need to take his medicine and be told, listen, because we're doing this in here, which allows us to control the game a bit more, you're gonna have to drop back in here, and you're gonna have to give us a dig out. But the flip side of it, and the return you get off this is that if we do that, we're gonna win the ball back quicker, right? We're going to be more competitive in midfield. We'll win the ball, and then other teams are going to drop, and you're going to get more of the ball, and we're going to have an extra attacking option in Florian Wirtz to help you. They're going to have to take the medicine. Virgil van Dijk and Kanata are going to have to take the medicine. Lads, if he's going to play that high of the pitch, he's better get it right. Okay, or we're going to fucking come down you like a ton of bricks. If that fella's running from his own half, more or less, run back towards your own goal, will you? Don't be pointing at players like last week and then just doing nothing. Don't be fucking standing there going, I hope when this goes over my head, there's not a fella running onto it. You have to tell McAllister, listen, you've been awful. But can you please just fucking, when the ball goes up and Van Dijk goes up with Mateta on Wednesday, the ball drops, can you be somewhere near the fucking scene to try fucking win it? Not actually to win everyone, but just be near the scene, will you? And players just need a few home truths told to them. And a few of them need to they need to take their medicine. But at the same time, Slot needs to be very clear as to what he wants to do. Because the signals from me being sent out there is, lads, don't worry, if he's don't do it in 4-2-3-1, we'll change back to 4-3-3. And if that doesn't work, we'll play a bit of a 4-4-1-1. And then when that works, do you know what I'll do? I'll go back to 4-2-3-1. It seems like it's a bit of cutting off your nose to spite your face thing. That's not a good signal to be sending him. So there's plenty to be worked on.
That's the point is that
but you can't compound it now.
Pressing and passing and retaining the ball.
Pressing, passing, and willing to fucking pressing, passing, and second ball.
Yeah, but in order to be able to do that in the role that you're being asked to play, is you need to be playing the same or slight, like a variation of the same formation or shape all the time, not chopping and changing, like you're saying. So like last year we were kind of a little bit.
But people think if we play that system, would you be able to do that? Listen, we can easily play a 4-2-3-1 and press properly, right? Keep the fucking ball and challenge for second balls. Like, why wouldn't you be able to do that?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So you like last year we were. I think there's been an awful lot of chopping and changing. This season we complained last year that he probably didn't rotate enough, and now I think maybe he's gone too far the other side. I know I've said this before, and some of it has been enforced. But in order to get a team playing well as a team, as a unit, as Robbo says, with a structure, there needs to be some sort of a consistency. Not chopping and changing formations, not chopping and changing personnel. He needs to, and you've said it maybe about 40 minutes ago, he needs to pick something and stick to it. He needs to get a run of games together of players playing same position. Look, we've lost players to injuries. We've lost Frimpong. I think Robbo had a knock as well at some stage. So like it's, but he just needs to pick something that's how we're going to do it, and that this is who's going to play in it. And if he's not playing there, it'll be somebody else. And that's how they just need the. My fear is that he's just going, look, it'll eventually work. We just keep trying it and trying it and trying it, and it'll eventually work. And he needs to pick to something and stick to it with the same personnel and get a rhythm, get a structure going, and stop this chopping and changing. It's
I agree with you 99% of the time. Maverick says, Gav, you're going around in circles. Maverick has an issue with me at the minute.
oh,
But don't worry about it. I won't fall out with you. I'm not going in circles. I've been very fucking clear as to what way Liverpool should do it. I'm probably repeating myself, but that's just our frustration. I agree with you. I don't agree with the same personnel thing. I think players need to be coming onto the pitch going, I'm going on, and when I go on, I'm going into Mohamed Salah's position.
but that's what I'm saying.
Do you know
So
what I mean? There's too many times for me when team players come on and go, oh, we're just fucking five up front and see what happens. Do you know what I mean? And like take Chiesa as a case in point, he's been really good. But when you watch Chiesa, he's actually really clever in the positions he takes up and the kind of the angles he makes for players. But Chiesa is coming on and he's been really good, don't get me wrong. But surely Chiesa wants to come on and go, when I come on, I'm going to be playing I know how to play Salah's position.
yeah,
If I come
that's
on
what I
the
mean.
left, I know how to play Gakpo's position. He's not coming on going, what does this fucking fella do last week in this formation? And what does that fella do in that formation? Do you know what I'm saying?
But you're taking off this fella and putting Szoboszlai to right back. It's just like fuck me. Like, do you know what I mean? It should
Yeah.
be like for like changes instead of just
It feels
square
like a panic,
pegs
doesn't it?
and round holes. Like it's just it is. And like I think at one stage there, I don't know what game it was. We had something like 5 attackers on the pitch.
Hmm.
Like it's desperate. It just
It is. And come
stinks
here.
of desperation.
Yeah. And sometimes you look and you go, we 5 attackers on the pitch and it was a bit mad and wasn't that great and stuff like that. But for the players, when you're going through this and you're coming on to different formations and different fucking ways of playing every single time, I think it can be a bit off-putting. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure they have ways for it. Listen, if we're 1-0 up in this, we're going to change it this way. If we're 2-1 down, we might change it this way. But when they're going on the pitch, it feels like, oh, we're just going to fucking see how this goes. Instead of going, this is how we play. And that's why I keep saying, pick your team, wherever it is, but pick a way to play and go and play it. And give it the chance to flourish. Don't keep chopping and changes. And listen, you might have to admit in 10 games that 4-2-3-1 just isn't working, lads. Right? Just isn't working. I have to go back to something else. But you're never going to find out if you don't stick with it. Maverick asks if he doesn't get it right, how long do you give him? Well, I've said since the start of the season, if Liverpool finish 10th, I'm absolutely fine with it. I've said that. And it's completely and utterly based on what happened with Diogo Jota. And I said it days after the man died. And I stick to that. But what I would say is that if I keep going back to it, if they were playing in a certain way, but you could see they were just emotionally fucking zoned out, gone, you kind of go, they're trying their best here. They're trying to do the right things, and it's just not working for them. It's too much too soon. My thing is that it's just chopping and changing, and it feels a bit throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And I don't want it too harsh, because I wouldn't sack him. And I hasn't even entered my mind to sack Arne Slot. And I'm sometimes I'm a little bit hesitant to even criticise players, because in the back of my head it is that stuff that's gone on. But I think they need to give themselves the best chance of winning games, and right now I don't think they are. That's probably the best way I can put it.
Yeah,
Agree with that.
I'd agree. I think it's way, way, way too soon to be considering what a lot of people are considering. I just think he needs to get something right. I just, for the life of me, like I said, I don't see how it's massively different from last year. I think Kev then said, with pressing, it's very hard to press when teams when they're playing long balls, but we need to have a solution to long balls, much the same as teams have a solution to us, the way we want to play. So, like, do you know what I mean? he needs to come up with something. He needs to come up with it soon. I'm not saying that because I think he should lose his job, but I think it's not long before, you said it, I don't think it's long before there's major questions being asked of him. And unfortunately,
And look,
the
yeah,
90% of the fan base won't go to the I don't mind if we finish 10th this season because of what's gone on. They just the online absolute cesspit fans um won't give him enough leeway.
you see, it's a very hard question to answer as well, because we don't know. You don't know what going on in the background. You don't know what state of mind they're all in. You just don't, and you know they do. We don't. So it's sometimes you can even be sitting there going, giving this opinion, and if any of them in the fucking dressing room is looking, that you probably think, yeah, that fella's a right prick. Not if only he kind of knew, sort of thing. So there you go. Philly says, Mr. Cracky lads produce non-footy. Yeah, we do. We are doing some non-football stuff. I'm waiting for Phil. Phil's been away. Phil's going to come back on. We'll be on Patreon, and we'll be having a laugh about random stuff, because as much as people like the football chat, they fucking love the non-football chat, and I enjoy it as much as the football chat, to be fair, because it lightens up the mood, doesn't it? I was in a WhatsApp group today, and we just started talking about, Jesus, lads, you think this is bad? Do you remember Degsy Lovren shooting from 55 yards out at Wembley? And we just went through a load of stuff today. We were fucking roaring and laughing at it, just how bad some of the stuff got. So that might be an idea. We might do that during the week if we can get a chance, but we will do that. Look, we all care. We all want to fucking win. We all have different levels of, is this right? Is this wrong? What's affecting it and stuff? And only the players know, only the managers know, and all you can kind of do is support them and hope they play their way out of this. And that's all you can hope for. Bring on Wednesday and we go again, because it doesn't matter. Like, not that it doesn't matter, but like, come the end of May, we'll all be sitting there watching Liverpool the last game of the season. We won't be, no one will abandon them or anything, but I'd love to see them I'd just love to see them pick something and go. Just pick something and go.
Yeah.
I'm okay losing games. I'm okay losing games once, not all the time, but I'm okay if you lose a game and you go, you know what, we played to our way, and it just happens. It's a bit like when we used to play City, and they play their way and we play our way, and we fucking knock heads for 90 minutes and go, who won? Loads of times it was a draw, but sometimes you lose and go, yeah, that was a fucking great game. We lost, it was a great game. And that's where I think a bit of identity, maybe. Is it a bit of identity in that play, maybe? I'm not too sure. Is that it? Are we finished? Have you been?
I don't mind us losing if we didn't create our own problems.
Yeah.
We just seem to be creating an awful lot of our own problems this season. Mistakes. Look, I get at this level, you make mistakes, you get punished. But you just love to. You wouldn't love to, but I wouldn't mind being involved in an excellent game. We were defensively solid, and a moment of magic won it for the opposition team. But it just seems that it's Keystone Cops shit at the moment that's beating us, and we're beating it. I don't want to be so kind of cocky and say that we're beating ourselves, but like, we're not doing ourselves any favors.
Yeah.
So let's start doing ourselves a few favors and
we're boxing ourselves into corners, aren't we?
If we're gonna get beaten by a moment of magic. Okay. You'll take that on the chin, but it's difficult to take what we're going through at the moment on the chin. But like I said, the older supporters of us will have gone through a hell of a lot more worse times than this. So it'll come good again. I'm still banking on us finishing ahead of Arsenal.
Are you?
I keep telling, yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
I think it's a long way back to Arsenal, to be fair.
No, it's not that far.
I think it is.
We came back from 14 points behind.
I know, but
the best Man City side you'll ever see, and got within a point of them. Very nearly won the league.
Listen.
We can do it with this Arsenal side.
Yeah, listen. I'd never give up on anything. But I reckon that gap gets bigger before it gets smaller. To be fair, just judging on the way we are, it's up to Liverpool to kind of turn that around and see where they can go from here. And that starts against Palace during the week, and then Villa next Saturday night. So we will be here during the week. We'll be on YouTube doing some match previews and all, and match reactions. We'll be over on Patreon, and we'll be doing some reaction extra. We'll be doing some ref watch shows. We'll be doing. I think I'm definitely going to do that show where we just look back at the mad stuff, the mad moments where you go, Jesus, we were shy. I think that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call the show, and we just talk about stuff that happened over the years, just to cheer us up a bit. So there you go. Anyway, that's it. That's been the Sunday Night Cop. Thanks for watching. Hit like, subscribe. Comment, all that sort of stuff. If you're interested in the Patreon, the link is in the description below. Yeah, if you join us there, join for a month. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. One more comment there. Maverick says, "Listen to you, Gav. It seems that he needs to go, as there's nothing positive to come from what you're saying. Surely, I think it can be very. I don't think it's too hard to turn around and make a positive. But I just think the indecision is doing himself no favours at the moment. I think if he was decisive in what he's trying to do, and everyone could see what he's trying to do. But honestly, you can't tell me I watch Liverpool at the minute you're not scratching your head every time the team lineup comes out or the line up on the pitch to start again. Genuinely, you can't tell me you're not scratching your head going, are we going back to this, or what are we fucking trying here? Do you know that sort of way? Whereas, and that's where I think it is at the minute. I just think it has to be one of those where pick it, go with it, and see where you end up. Nothing to lose. Nothing to lose now. 7 points off the top. You've nothing to lose. Go for it and see what happens. There you go. Owen Borg says, Gab, will you send me the reunion night? I won't make it public. We don't have that podcast. If I had it, I'd give it to you. We don't have it. Once we bleeped out nearly everything one person said, I will give it to you. But we genuinely don't have it. So there you go. I've been Gav. That's been Emmet. Thanks again to everyone for all your comments. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, let us know. If you haven't, let us know. Doesn't bother us. And we'll talk to you in a bit. Over and out.